Gareth Hughes.
Kia ora, Mr Chair. Ngā mihi nui kia koutou kia ora. In this energy debate, I'd like to talk as part of the estimates report around the issues contained in this report, which is the national government's power price rises and the national government's extractive fossil fuel extraction agenda. I guess what you can summarise their agenda as is more power price rises, more excuses, more blame game across the House, and more fossil fuels being dug up, more drilling, mining and fracking. Aotearoa. Of this debate, what we've heard is a whole bunch of excuses. We've heard a whole bunch of blame between the two successive governments. What we haven't heard a lot of is a lot of vision, a lot of plans, a lot of going forward. We've heard a lot of going backwards. So what I want to talk about is what's my vision for energy in New Zealand, and it's cheaper, cleaner, smarter energy. It's a strategy which focuses on New Zealand's advantages, our strengths. It goes forward, it builds the economy, it grows jobs. It's about putting the power and the profits back to the people of New Zealand, not this blame and excuses we hear from the two old parties. So the government's dirty old agenda, which we've heard over and over again in this debate, is all about subsidising polluters over $1 billion a year in emissions trading schemes credits. It's about handing out $46 million a year in tax breaks to deep-sea oil drillers, already one of the largest and most profitable industries in the world. And it's about telling Kiwis this winter, as they open up their envelope with their power bill in it, and they're seeing their power prices rise, that all they have to do is wait for Max Bradford's reforms to finally bed in. What we see from the National Party in their vision, or the lack of vision, in their agenda, is a 19th century fossil fuel, crony capitalist inspiration age. That's where they're looking, whereas the Greens, we're looking to the future. So what I want to talk about is three things: cheaper, cleaner, smarter energy. So the first is New Zealand Power. And what we've seen is since the Bradford reforms, New Zealand power prices have increased 72% in real terms, while across the OECD they've seen a 6% reduction on average. We've now had the 5th highest power price rises in the entire developed world, and under national what we've seen is our bills go up $400 a year for Kiwi families. So the so-called market clearly isn't working for New Zealand consumers, and the long-run marginal pricing model for electricity sees cheap hydro, paid for decades ago, being charged at the most expensive unit. And it's at $700 million a year in excessive profits being taken out of Kiwi businesses, being taken out of Kiwi consumers' wallets, which is a serious drag on our economy. It's got real-world impacts too, because what we know is a quarter of our New Zealand families are in energy poverty, spending more than 12% of their weekly income just to stay warm. And we know Kiwis, elderly, renters are going without power, they're going without food to get power, they're getting cold, they're getting sick, and it's a serious drag on the New Zealand economy. So that's why we've proposed New Zealand Power as a smart, cost-effective, efficacious solution to sit between the generators and the retailers. So like Farmac, they're going to drive down the price of electricity, encourage competition, encourage energy efficiency. So I guess what I tell people around the country is this election you're going to get a real choice when it comes to energy, because Labor's on the same card as the Greens. What we're going to get is a real choice. Under National, what we're going to get is more excuses, more power price rises, more of our assets being sold off. Under the Greens, what Kiwis are going to see is $300 a year in savings for the average family. So the second thing I want to talk about is clean energy, because in New Zealand we've got a wealth of clean energy options, but you wouldn't know about it listening to the government benches, and in fact you wouldn't know about it looking at the stats, because we're not on track to meet the 90% by 2025 target. In fact, we're doing worse than we've ever done before. We've got a lower percentage of renewables as a total percentage than we had in 1980. We've got a lower percentage than we had in 1990. So while all the government's attention is being lavished on foreign oil drilling companies, they're missing out. The smart money, Mr Chair, internationally is looking at clean energy. In 2011, net international capital investment in renewables was larger than all the fossil fuels, all the nuclear energy combined. This is where the smart money's going, yet National's spending all their time talking to major foreign oil drilling companies. Mr Chair, the PricewaterhouseCoopers report says there's a $22 billion economic opportunity in clean energy for New Zealand. The Pure Advantage group of successful business people said there's a $6 trillion clean energy green tech sector our country should be getting a slice of. It's a business opportunity which is staring us in the face, yet the Prime Minister's going around opening fossil fuel power peaking stations and getting international media for wanting to drill Middle Earth. I want to give the government a bit of credit where it's due. They are doing something about solar power. The problem is the only thing they're doing about solar power is in Tokelau and Tonga, and they're putting up all these barriers for New Zealanders who want to be able to produce their own power and export it. So what we need is clean energy, smarter law, better way for our economy.
Kanwal Bakshi.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, for the opportunity to speak on vote energy. Mr. Chair, this government, under the able leadership